lot like how us humans face midlife crisis, cars do as well. And that is why they are given a bit of a nip and tuck job, a bit of a cosmetic job in the middle of their life cycle. We have one such midlife upgrade over here. It is the BMW 5 Series. Let's see how much perkier it has now become. It's almost 5 meters long, but it kind of feels smaller than that when you're driving it. Even when you're sitting really low in the driver's or the passenger seat, you can see pretty well out of the car. And even on the back, the glasshouse area is very nice and it does not really give you that claustrophobic sense of being in the 5 Series. So that way, it's pretty bang on. It's a very smooth driving machine and the engine remains vibration free, and it's only when you're really pushing it, really going for the limits of the rev counter, that you can kind of hear it. Otherwise, it's very silent as well. There is not a lot to dislike about the design of the 5 Series. It is not a very striking design. It's quite understated. And this facelift is only identifiable because of its sleeker headlights, slightly more pronounced and wider grille section, and the revised bumpers. Again, the sleeker tail lamps at the back, they generally just give you a little sense of the whole design being tighter. And I think it kind of works because the whole proportion of the 5 Series is also very strong. It sits really low to the ground. So overall stance on the road, extremely solid. Cabin, not much different, and you get exactly the same design with exactly the same color options as well. The screen in the center, this one is nice and big. It is bright, it works very well, very responsive, it's fast, and the instrument panel right in front of the driver, that has gone all digital, and it's okay. It's exactly like how every other BMW is. And again, some people may like it, some people may not. I think it's all right. It's not too bad. But yes, in the market, there are better, much better designs and executions that are there with Mercedes-Benz and Audi. In fact, even Lexus does a very good job of the instruments. So BMW kind of lacks over there, does not really have that charm and that flash. But yeah, it's straightforward. You might like it. Overall, when it comes to cabin design, BMWs are not in the same league as Mercedes and Audi, but somehow BMWs have this sense of solidity, of robustness that I kind of miss in the modern Mercs and Audis. Not that they're inferior as such, I'm not really saying that, but the BMWs, they just feel slightly better. The seats are really good. You can adjust the bolstering as well, so when you're really going around corners in a spirited manner, you are held in place properly. Most aggressive setting on the bolstering is going to give you a little bit of a tickle, and the most relaxed, well, that is still not as good as the seats in the Mercedes E-Class, for example. But still, not bad. In fact, very good. I really like them. And it's the same thing on the rear as well. Again, a very similar sort of a thing. It's not bad on seating comfort as such, but one gripe that I have is that there is hardly any space for you to slide the feet under the front seat, and that kind of compromises the overall comfort a little bit. Also, the fact that there is a tall transmission tunnel running through the center, it kind of makes it a strict 4-seater. So seating 5 is not really very ideal in the 5 Series. Features. It gets most of the things, all the connectivity options, navigation, which is actually not bad. There is cruise control, there is a multi-button steering wheel, you have climate control, drive modes, sport, eco pro and individual. So when it comes to loading cars up, I think every manufacturer in this segment really is at the same level. Some of course have a little bit of an edge, but overall BMW kind of gives you almost everything that you want. You also get a couple of very cool things. One is of course what is now becoming the norm. It's the park assist system, and the other one is a virtual assistant voice control basically, and yeah, it's all very funky over here. The 5 Series has always been a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde kind of a story, but in perfect balance, because like the 3 Series is slightly more Mr. Hyde than Dr. Jekyll, the 5 has a perfect balance between the two personalities, and it shows in the way it drives. It's perfectly smooth, very serene when you're being light-footed and driving with your sensible head, but if you want to go a little bit more mental on the throttle, it is not going to disappoint you at all. The chassis in this 5 Series is not as feelsome or not as communicative as the chassis in the previous generation of the 5 Series have been. It's kind of a little synthetic experience. I still remember driving the E60 generation of the 5 Series, and that was a car that was within you. It was flowing through the veins. This G30 is not as direct and not as intimate, but it feels a damn sight more potent and sharp. I think it's all about the evolved electronics that cars now come with. This one, the one that we are driving, is the 530i. So guess the engine, 530i. Back in the day, that would have meant intense performance. Now, in this iteration, it is a 4-cylinder, 2-liter petrol engine that makes about 250 horsepower and 350 Newton meter. But it is brisk enough. It does about 0 to 100 in 6.2 seconds. And even in the in-gear acceleration times, it's not too bad. It's actually quite solid. So as far as facelifts go, this is largely about a sleeker looking face, slightly better back. The cabin is solid but lacks drama. The dynamics are fairly good. It is perhaps as good to drive as the E-Class, if not better. So yeah, the 5 Series, it's kind of a mixed bag. There is a 530D if you want a 5 Series in more suggestive clothing. It gets that whole aggressive clothing, the bumpers and skirts and everything. So yeah, that's an option if you want to flaunt some very aggressive clothes. But is the 5 Series special? Because it has been in the past, right from the E39, and I've driven one. It's phenomenal, very direct, very intimate, to the E60, which is a generation that I'm absolutely in love with. Then we of course have the F, which was the previous version of this, and now the G. I think as we go ahead in development, we are losing that purity of driving, but it is being compensated by immense amount of potential and immense scope of the dynamics. You can go from really comfortable to absolute mental in no time. So in all, it's not special, but it's very good.